Hey, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about what should you look for in a property, right? So first thing you want to make sure good neighborhood. You want to make sure the neighborhood is good. There's no major changes in the home's value. It's been growing. That's important. Then generating income. We want to make sure that the property can generate income and that there's a good net cash flow, right? That's also extremely important. If there's any major changes in the home's value, you want to check the tax rate as well. And now we're going to get into what you want to actually check with the house. So you want to check the roof. Hopefully the roof is newer. If not, that it has no leaks and it has at least 8 years left on it. You want to make sure the burner and the boiler system are good. That can cost you anywhere between $8,000 to $12,000. That's not an expense you want to pay right off the bat. That's later on down the road. So make sure you have at least a good 5+ years left on that. Same thing with the HVAC system. You want to make sure the HVAC system is great. There's no major damage to it. It kicks in, it turns off. There's no major problems with that. You want to make sure the windows close properly and they seal out drafts. That's extremely important with Section 8. They will check that. If not, windows can be very expensive. No termite damage. The only way you're going to find that out is by hiring an inspector, and they will check all the braces, the beams. They'll check everything in your house to tell if there's any termite damage. So, termites can really, really decrease the value of your home, especially if they're there and they've done damage, and it can be very costly to replace structural issues when it comes to termites. For me, mold, it's not a deterrent and it can be easily fixed to an extent as long as I don't have to rip down walls and take down sheetrock and redo insulation. There's a little bit of a visible mold. That's not the biggest deal, but you do want to check where that source is coming from and make sure that there's no leaks. That's normally how mold does come into play. One of the biggest for me is foundation issues. I cannot buy a property that has major foundation issues. Tight, slimy, slight little hair cracks, not the biggest deal. Just make sure there's no major structural damage to it, or nothing is going to occur in the recent years coming to play. So structural damage is another one, that your roof isn't crooked, your house isn't leaning or tilted. I mean, these are major concerns. You don't want to have to redo the structure of your property whatsoever. You want to make sure that the floors are not buckling, right? So you want to make sure that the floors are, even at a steady pace, that they're not popping up at all like this, because there's a reason for that happening, and normally that's water damage. So you want to make sure that the floor is not buckling. I'm not talking about the floors need to be brand new. No, you can always sand down floors or lay down laminate or put down carpet. That's fine, but not buckling, right? You do want to make sure that there is good water pressure. Water pressure is a big part. So just turn on the sink, flush the toilet, make sure everything works as should. Also, there's no leaks by the sinks or drains or by the HVAC system, that there's no water damage on the property anywhere. If there is, you need to find out the root of that problem and see if it's easily accessible and fixable, right? So these are the main major things that you want to look for when you're purchasing a house, because some of these can become extremely expensive. And for a new investor, these are not, tasks that you want to start taking on. You don't want to start off in the black. You want to start off in the green. And to do that, you really need to check all of these components that I put out there. All right. Thank you.